Hello, welcome to this Nelly Bite video. My name is Nelly, otherwise known as Neil Soopkins. I am a Senior Solutions Architect for Wasabi here in the UKI and also covering the Nordic and South Africa regions. So today we're going to go over Wasabi and the Synology ActiveProtect appliance. Synology were very nice recently and they sent me a demo unit to have a play with. So thank you James Blake from Synology for arranging that. And so far it's been really good. Very simple to set up, connect to Wasabi, super easy to do some backups, restores. So a really good product. So today we're going to go through the appliances, what versions are on offer, and then we'll drop into a demo, show you, a little look around the ActiveProtect console, how to connect it into Wasabi, how to do a backup, restore, just some basic stuff to get going. So what we'll do first of all is drop the video because no one wants to look at me. If you do, you're very weird. There we go. So let's get into it. So just on the Synology.com knowledge-based product page for the ActiveProtect appliance, which can be accessed through this URL here. I'll put that into the notes on this video. And you can see there are 4 appliances, 2 are tower-based and 2 are rack-based. Synology have lent me the DP320 to use. It's the smallest box in the range. Suggested backup source 5 terabytes. It comes with the ability to spin up one virtual machine on the box itself to test restores. And it comes with 1 gig networking as standard. So it's a nice little box. Certainly for me as a home user, this would be absolutely perfect for me. And then they step up the range. So the 340 again is a small tower unit. The capability of backing up a source capacity of 14.5 terabytes, the ability to spin up 2 virtual machines for restores, and networking steps up to 10 gig E for the data transfer network. So those are the 2 tower ones, and then we go up to the larger rack ones with the DP7200 and the DP7400. So again, it's just more capacity, more size, suggested backup source, obviously bigger, and then, the ability to spin up more virtual machines for restores. The larger ones can also be clustered together to give you much more backup capability. So that's the 4 that are in the range, 2 tower units and 2 rack units. So we're going to drop into the console now, do a little demo. I'm not going to go through the actual setup of the unit. It was super simple. Basically there was an app that discovered it and let me set an IP address, and then I could log in and it was all empty and ready to go. So I'm not going to go through the setup of it on this video. We're just going to go into the console and just do some basic, connect to Wasabi, backup, restore kind of stuff. So let's go there. So here we are in the console. I've just accessed it through IP address and logged in, username and password. So I am logged in as the administrator at the moment. The first page you hit is this nice dashboard, gives you information around your backups. As you can see, I've been playing with this over the last week, so I have got some workloads being backed up. Currently a file server and a virtual machine. I can see some information around those workloads. I can see when they were backed up, so I can highlight dates, and I can see, if the backups were successful, and if there are any warnings or errors that are going on. Also any cloud applications. If I was backing up any 365 stuff, it would show in here, but I'm not. I'm just backing up local machines at the moment. And again, up here, you can see another pull out of your machines that have been backed up and any of your cloud workloads that are also being backed up. Just down here, we've got a duration video and a data increase, so you could see a nice graph over time. Obviously, I haven't really been playing with this enough to get any decent information yet, but you'd be nice to see a a nice chart showing you what your data increase is looking like over time. And then just the actual backup server itself, the Synology unit, how much space I'm actually consuming on that unit itself. So nice little dashboard, just giving you an overview of what's going on. I mentioned users, so you can have local users, or you can connect to a domain or an LDAP service. I'm just using local users for my my demonstration. So I created one came as standard. That was a super user. That's what we would call the root user. And then I created another user called Neil, just to give it some credentials. And I don't want to delete Neil. Just to give it some credentials and see what happens if I put it in different groups. To see what I would get. So it's very simple just to create users. Again, just normal stuff you would expect. Username, description, email, that sort of thing. I haven't connected this into LDAP. There is a knowledge base. You can get to it by kb.synology.com. And if you go onto the ActiveProtect portion and then go to the admin guide, you'll find all the information in here on connecting it to SSO, backups, restores, everything you could want. And it's very useful, very good. I've used this for when I was just setting up the appliance to get through it, and the knowledge base is really good, really useful. So system settings, general stuff. Do I want to enable notifications? Do I want to configure an update policy? Stuff like that. So we're not really going to go into system settings today. What we're going to look at today is going into some infrastructure, connecting it to some remote storage, and then we'll create some backups and some restores. So the first thing we're going to look at here is the remote storage. So on the remote storage tab, you can see I've already been demoing. So I've already got a folder connected to a bucket in Wasabi, and I've already got some backups on there. So we're going to create a new one. We'll just run through it quickly. So I'm going to drop into into the Wasabi console. I've logged in. And you can see here's the bucket I was just using then. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new bucket. And I'm going to call this one NS Synology Demo. There we go, that should do. And I want object lock on here. So I'm going to put OL on the end of it. So, I've already got that one. So let's just call it 1. There we go, OL1. There we go. Okay, I shall pick region. As with all Wasabi, there are 16 regions to choose from. I'm in the UK, so I'm going to pick EU West 1 here. And go next. And I do want object lock, so I'm going to enable both of these, just these sliders. Next. Let's enable some logging on the bucket so that I can actually see, I get a log of what's going in and what's going out. So the prefix will be Synology Demo, and it was OL1, I think I called it. And the target bucket will be my logs bucket, which is that one there. So there we go. So I've enabled logging. I'm not going to replicate this bucket for now, so I'll just go ahead and create the bucket. So it'll tell me that I've enabled object lock on the bucket, so whatever application you're using must be object lock enabled or aware, which the Synology ActiveProtect boxes are. Cool, so we've got our bucket ready to go, NS Synology Demo OL1. I've got some access keys created already. So we'll go back into here and we're going to add in that bucket. Okay, so we'll go up to the add button. I want to add some remote storage, and there are a few options in here, but obviously I want the Wasabi hot cloud storage. No egress fees, no API fees, great storage, that's what we want. So we'll go Wasabi storage, and now I need my access key and secret key. Now these would have been excuse me, these would have been given to you when you set your account up, whether it's a sub user or a root user. We're just going to use a root user keys for now. just to make this easy. I will find the policy, the lockdown policy for this and put it in the description, but for now I'm just going to use my root user keys. There we go. Now, so we want object lock enabled buckets. It only supports buckets with object lock enabled, which we did. So we'll go down and we'll find our new bucket. So this is the one we just created, NS Synology Demo 01. And we'll hit next. We'll enable client-side encryption, yeah, so that we get encryption from all the way from the ActiveProtect appliance all the way through to Wasabi. So we'll do that. And we'll hit OK. You'll see it's downloaded my encryption key automatically. So I've got that there, and I've now got my two remote storage areas ready to use. So the next area after the remote storage we're going to look at is the actual backup plans. So we're going to come over here to plans. We've got three sections here. Protection plans, this is where we're going to make our backup plans that we're going to add machines to. Then we got archive plans, which is for if a backup you don't want it anymore, so you delete the protection plan, you can have an archive plan, so you actually keep the backups for a certain number of days. It doesn't delete them straight away, so you can archive those protection plans or virtual machines, sorry. Or just machines. And then you have a tiering plan, so if your backup server, your ActiveProtect appliance starts running out of space, you can create a tiering plan to move older data off of the appliance to some Wasabi storage, obviously. So, but we're not going to do that. We're going to go to protection plans. You can see I have been playing already with a few, but we're going to create a new one. So we go up to create plan. It's going to be a physical and virtual machines. And we want an immutable protection plan, so we're going to choose the immutable option, and then we're going to give it a name. So I'm going to do, what did I do last time? Last time I did daily for 30 days. I'm going to do daily. I'm going to do daily for 15 days. There we go. So. And then we're going to run the plan, same time zone as the backup server. So I want to only keep 15 versions here. And I'm going to automatically back up daily. And I'll set my backup to start at, let's go for 11 o'clock at night. And I do get the option of saying, okay, I don't want backups to run. You know, obviously, if your internet capability might be contended during the day, you might say, well, actually, between the hours of 7 and 7, backups aren't allowed. So just in case the backup goes over that time, it wouldn't start or wouldn't continue. So we're not going to do that. We'll say backups are allowed at any time. And anything else I want to do? No. You can also set different schedules for different machines. So if you had physical machines in here and some file servers and some virtual machines, you might want different schedules for each one. So we're not going to do that. We're going to keep the same schedule and scope for all machines in this plan. Application aware backup. Well, I'm going to untick that because none of my machines are, they're only basic installs of Windows servers as well. So I'm not going to do that, but there are some additional database processing preferences down here that you can enable if you want to, around, not truncating logs, for different types of databases. So we're not going to enable application aware processing because I don't have any apps on those servers that would benefit from that. Do I want backup verification? Yes, I do. So I do want my backups verified to make sure that they're happy. Data store usage detection when backup free space is less than 10%. No, I'll leave that off for now. And then, I can do individual, whether I want, different options on the physical servers or the Windows PCs, whether I want to enable verification on those or, shut them down or prevent them going to sleep. I'm only going to do a virtual machine for this one, so I'm only going to select the virtual machine options. Now, so I'm going to back up. This is obviously going to back up locally to the ActiveProtect appliance, but do I want to then copy those backups off to Wasabi? Yes, I do. Of course, I do. Now, I can have a different number of versions available in the remote storage in Wasabi. So I'm going to do 15 days locally. Perhaps I'll do 30 days on Wasabi. So I know I got local rollback capability of 15 days, and then I've got an additional 15 days up with Wasabi. So we'll pick our destination. Oops, sorry. So that's going to be remote storage, and then we'll pick the new bucket that we just created earlier. And then you can have it to, as soon as the backup has finished, to create the backup copy, or you can decide to start the backup copy at a scheduled time. We'll do it straight after. So as soon as my backup has occurred, I wouldn't mind a backup copy off to Wasabi. So we'll go for that. So there's a summary. We can check everything is happy, that we've got all the required plan rules in here. And as soon as we've done that, then we'll create our plan. So we can see now we've got our daily for 15-day plan currently idle, with our backup destination in Wasabi in the NS Synology demo Object Lock 1 bucket. So now that we've got our protection plan ready to go, let's go ahead and protect a virtual machine. So I have added, if you look at the, where were we, hypervisors down here, I did already add my vCenter in. Very, very simple. You can just hit the add button, go to hypervisors, hit the add button, and then pick, what hypervisor you're going to use, whether you're directly on an ESXi host or whether you're connecting into a vCenter, Hyper-V standalone, SCVMM, or a failover cluster. All the options are there. Pick what you want to connect to. Obviously, address of the server, account, password, description. Good to go. So I've already done that. So we've got my vCenter here, and I've already got everything connected and ready to go. So I'll go to my virtual machines. So under the workload machines tab, we've got virtual machines. See, I've already got one that I am protecting. So I'm going to go ahead and add in another VM. Now I can do it by cluster, folder, or tag. So that's actually what I did on this one here. I did it by a tag. So I created in vCenter. So yeah, if we just open vCenter here, magically it's appeared. And you can see here I've got a VM called File1, just a file server. I created a tag called Back Me Up. And it just meant that when I was in here, I could go via tag and just pick my Back Me Up tag there. And any VM then that I add that tag onto would automatically get backed up. So that was quite cool. It's a nice feature. Just means that when you create a VM, you can just drop a tag on it, and it will be added to a protection plan. So I am not going to do that on this one. Let's just go back, leave, add. So I'm going to do individual backup by VM. So I'm just going to pick my machine. So let's go there. I don't want all of them, thank you. I'll just pick file 5, and we'll go next. So that's happy. It's connected to file 5. Now we're going to pick our daily for 15-day backup, the one we just created. Next, and done. Now I get the option of backing up now or back up later. It's 5:15 in the evening. Wife's probably using the internet, so yeah, let's back it up now to slow the internet down. That'll be good. There we go. So it's now being backed up. There we go. If we looked in vCenter, we'll see things happening. Snapshots are being taken of file 5, and then back in the console we can see that our file 5 machine is being backed up. We can go to the activities tab, backup activities, and we can see that machine, what's going on, and the percentage it's being backed up. where it's going to, you know, what protection plan it's part of. And obviously we did choose verification, so we'll see that it's waiting to be verified once the backup's taken to prove it's a good, happy, healthy backup. So we can see here that file 5, the backup's actually now complete. The local backup has been successful. It's done its verification, and now it's just waiting to do its backup copy job. So we'll just leave that for a little bit and watch it sending the backup up to Wasabi. So that backup completed now, and the backup copy. So if we have a look, we can see here I've got my local backup reserved from deletion, and also my backup copy again reserved from deletion. So I mean, we can't show a lot here. We've only obviously just done one backup, so it's only showing today's backup. If we just have a look at file 1, if we look at the protection plan is daily with a mutable copy. So let's just look down here, daily with a mutable copy. So what I did on this plan was 2 local versions and then 4 with Wasabi. So I'm only telling it to keep 2 versions locally on the ActiveProtect appliance, and I want 4 versions available in Wasabi. So if we look at that virtual machine and the versions, you'll see we've got our 4 versions. It has actually been backing up for longer. If we go to the dashboard, we'll see that VM file 1 has actually got 1, 2, 3, 6. So it's done 6 successful backups. However, I only want it to keep 2 local and 4 cloud. So it should only have 4 backups in total. So let's have a look. Yep, so we've got our 4 backups. And again, you can see here, our latest 2 backups have full immutable lock. You know, the 2 backups that are furthest away have backup copies only, because remember I only asked it to keep 2 local and 4 cloud copies. So let's have a look. So yeah, we can open these and we can see that the last copy has got 2, both reserved from deletion. The next one has got 2, and it's telling me when they're going to be immutable until. So that's a cool feature. But the previous 2 have only got the copy jobs, because I'm only keeping 2 local copies, but 4 in Wasabi. So it's telling me, yep, we've still got the 2 in Wasabi, but the actual local ones aren't there anymore. So it's quite nice that you can come into the virtual machine, into the actual VM itself, and see what your versions are like on that actual machine. Cool. Everything else was really just as simple. File server was just literally pointing at a file server, whether it was an SMB or a NetApp or Nutanix or Synology, which is quite obviously you would expect it to protect its own family. So it's quite nice you can protect a Synology NAS. And it was just as simple as adding in the file server and then again connecting it to a protection plan, which is exactly what I did. And you can see it's just happily going away. And then some of the other options you've got are physical servers, so just protecting a physical Windows or Linux machine, and it will install an agent on the machine to allow it to be backed up. So you hit this and it will download the agent and get your connect key, so that when you install the agent on the physical machine, you add in the key and then it will connect back to the ActiveProtect manager. And then PCs and Macs as well. If you want to protect a Windows PC or a Mac, or something running Mac OS, same jobby. You get the connect key, it will download the software, and then that's the key that you'll use to put into the desktop and get it to connect back to Protection Manager. Maybe I'll do that in a bit or another video. We're not going to do that today. We'll just stick with our VMs and our file servers. And the last thing I forgot to mention, Office 365. So you can protect to Microsoft 365. I don't have an Microsoft 365 account, so I can't do this. But looking at documentation, you know, you can protect your 365 organization by backing up through the ActiveProtect manager, obviously onto itself and hopefully off to Wasabi as well. So another cool feature, you know, the ability to back up Microsoft 365. So now that we've done some backups and, you know, we backed up a virtual machine and a file server and we've sent those backups off to Wasabi, we'll just go through some restores now. So the first thing we'll look at is a virtual machine. So I'm just going to drop into vCenter here and I will power off this VM called File 5, which we have been backing up, and I will delete it from the disk. So there we go. So File 5 has completely been destroyed. So back into the ActiveProtect manager, and we can see we've got our File 5 backup here. You'll notice there is one warning, so you can go through the versions. You can see where you got the warning. You can click on the three dots and view the logs, and then we can go down and see what the warning was for. So partially successful. So one of the disks that was previously being backed up has been removed or changed. So that's why that disk couldn't be backed up anymore. So it just gives you some nice information on the backup, and you know, if there were any warnings or failures, what caused them. So we're going to now restore File 5. So we can go into Actions and then the Recovery portal. And in here we'll see all of our versions. Now for File 5, we were backing them up locally and we were copying those backups off to Wasabi. So we've got both versions. So if we had lost any portion, we've got 2 copies of these backups. So we'll go ahead and pick a date. Let's just pick this one here. And then we've got the option up here of restoring to virtual machine. I could download individual volumes if I want to, or files, but I'm going to go ahead and restore the whole virtual machine. Now we get 3 options available. One is the instant restore. So this will put the machine back into VMware, but it will actually still run from the ActiveProtect device itself. So it's not going to move the data back to VMware or the data store that it was from. It will just mount the VMDK or mount the virtual machine and connect back to the ActiveProtect appliance for the actual disk. So that's instant restore. There's also built-in restore to built-in hypervisor, so that will actually recover everything onto the ActiveProtect appliance. So you can spin it up, test it. It'll open a web browser, so you can just go ahead and test everything's happy with that restore before you actually move it onto live production. Or you can just go ahead and do a full restore, which is what we're going to do today. So we'll just hit restore and get the machine back as it should do. So restore to its original location. Yes. Check everything. Check whether you want to what you want to do with the machine. So power on after restoration. Yes, we'll do that. Regenerate a MAC address for VMs. No, we'll just stay with the MAC it had, and we'll hit done. So what that'll do now, say the restoration started, so we can see that we're restoring, and we're actually restoring from local here, not Wasabi, because just purely for time reasons. It would obviously take a little bit longer if we were restoring this backup directly from Wasabi, but you can do either. You can restore from the local copy or you can restore from the backup copy. And if we look into vCenter here, we can see that file 5 has been recreated with a timestamp and date stamp, and then this should just get renamed at the end back to file 5. So we'll just watch this restore go through. And then come back when it's finished. So we can see here now that this restore was successful. File 5 back to the vCenter. If we go to vCenter, we'll see file 5 is happily and running again. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to destroy it again quickly. Let's just power this off and remove it. Let's delete it from the disk. Yes, there we go. And we're going to do another restore. I've decided that I will do the local, the instant restore, and then we'll migrate it over. So we're going to restore it to its original location, power it on, done. So this will now start doing the restore, but it won't or shouldn't actually restore the data onto the disk. It should just use the disk in the actual ActiveProtect appliance itself, but restore the VM to VMware. So we'll just let that run through, and then we'll come back in a moment. So here you can see that the restore was completed. We've got status of ready to migrate. So if we look at this VM, let's just look at the objects on it. Ooh, highlight. So the VM is running, happily up and running. Everything is as it was. However, it's not moved the data back to the VMware data store. It's running it directly over the internet, over the network, onto the ActiveProtect appliance. So it will allow us to restore it very quickly into VMware, check that everything's happy, and then once we're happy, we can then go ahead and migrate. You'll see the migrate button up here. Hit the migrate button, and then we will select the data store that we want. So we're going to go for the local SSD, hit OK, and it will now start to migrate the actual data of this VM from the ActiveProtect appliance and back into vCenter, VMware itself. So let's again just let that run through, and we'll check back in a moment. So we can see here now that the migrate was successful, and if we go back to VMware, and we'll see that the file, the storage is now the local SSD. So there we go. So that was a restore with the data still in the appliance, but the machine mounted into VMware, and then a migrate back over to VMware. Good job. Right, what we're going to do now is a restore of a file from a file server. So we can see we've got good backups here. If you remember on the protection plan, we did daily with a mutable copy. And that actually meant that we were keeping 2 on site and 4 with Wasabi. So we had 2 versions on site, and then backup copy we had 4 versions. So let's just go to that file server. I'll just slide that in here. And we can see this is the share we're backing up, NS share 6. So what we're going to do is take these 4 files that are just in the top level of that share, and we will delete them, and then we will empty the recycle bin. There we go. So back to our console. Let's look inside the backup at the versions, and yeah, absolutely what I just said. You can see that we've got 4 copies. The latest 2 are with on the appliance and also with Wasabi, but then the later 2 are only with Wasabi, because we kept 2 local and we wanted 4 off-site immutable cloud copies. So we're going to bring this back from one of the Wasabi copies. So we'll take this one here, and we'll click the backup copy. Oops. There we go. And I'm going to open up here. You'll see Open Recovery Portal. So that will open another page, and that will now allow me to drill down and select any of the files that were backed up on that file share. So it was these 4 files here that we deleted. So we're going to go ahead, just highlight them, just tick in the box and restore. If there are items already there, I want them to be overwritten. And yep, that's my destination path. So I'm quite happy with that. So I'll hit restore. Again, we'll go on to our status, which is saying restoring. And if we open that VM again, there we go. You'll see that those files are being restored back to that virtual machine. And then there we go. That's already complete. So these files are there, ready to access. So very quickly, that was just a very simple file restore from a VM from the cloud backup, the Wasabi backup, back into the virtual machine. So I think we will stop there for today. So that was, a overview of the Synology ActiveProtect appliances. We were concentrating on the 320, but as I pointed out earlier, that is the smallest one. There are much larger and tower and rack mounted versions available depending on your backup requirements. So we had a look at the ActiveProtect appliance and the ActiveProtect Manager, where we got it set up, connected it to Wasabi, created some protection plans, backed up a VM, backed up some file servers, restored from both, just to show you how easy and simple the ActiveProtect Manager is to get up and running. So I hope that was useful, and I wish you all a good day.